What's going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with the Wraparound. We're going to be breaking down the NHL action going down on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. If you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you leave your NHL picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily $15 best bet, head to Pickdawgz.com and click the Premium Picks tab at the top of the page. Well, we come back to the NHL on Tuesday. Didn't have the greatest wraparound on Monday, fully transparent. I can admit that. It's been a bit of some tough sledding in some schedules early on this season. But, it's just like I said, sometimes the days are going to be good. Sometimes we're going to hit a bumpy patch. But it's just all about navigating it, especially in these first couple weeks of the season where you don't have to bet every single game. If you find spots that you really, really like, by all means, bet them. But we're just trying to get a sample size, kind of get a feel for what teams are doing early on this season. And we're going to be able to talk about it over the next couple days. Teams that are on our good books, maybe in our not so good books. But today we still got 9 games that we're going to break down. So let's not wait any longer. You guys know the drill. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. Our first game on Tuesday comes to us from the Capital One Arena, where the Washington Capitals take on the Vegas Golden Knights. And an interesting storyline here, as it is the Logan Thompson revenge game. Now, the Washington Capitals acquiring Thompson in the offseason after Thompson was a big piece of the Vegas Golden Knights goaltending room for the better part of the last couple seasons. But Logan Thompson was deemed expendable in the offseason. And now the Vegas Golden Knights face their former goaltender. It begs the question, who has the advantage? Does Thompson have the advantage because he knows this team? Or do the Golden Knights have the advantage because they know Thompson's weaknesses? And I think that the Vegas Golden Knights tend to have the advantage here, not just because of that, but just because I think they're the better team. They're the more balanced team, in my opinion. Vegas, there's usually, the Vegas Golden Knights that come out stronger. I believe there's been a couple seasons where Vegas has come out of the gates a little bit slow. This Vegas Golden Knights team this year looks, outstanding out of the gate. They came out, they took it to Colorado in the opener, beat St. Louis, and then beat Anaheim. Now they go out on the road for the first time, and Vegas historically hasn't been as strong on the road. But I can't get there with Washington here. Washington looked sloppy in their first game of the season. They didn't look tight defensively. Now that was Charlie Lindgren starting, so we'll have to see if Logan Thompson gives them a bit of a different look in goal here. But I think the Vegas Golden Knights get one over on their former attendee. I'm going to take the Golden Knights here on the money line at -135. Now we head to the Amalie Arena for a matchup between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Vancouver Canucks. And the Vancouver Canucks just have not looked right. I mean, not looked like the team that won the Pacific Division last year. Just hasn't shaken out that way. They've lost games against Philadelphia and Calgary, both in extra time, and both as heavy favorites. Now, I get it that, not having Thatcher Demko really does hurt this Canucks defense. I mean, he is their top goaltender, and Artur Shilovs and Kevin Lankinen just haven't been able to hold up. But now you got to go out on the road and take on a Tampa Bay Lightning team that finally gets their home opener. Obviously, Hurricane Milton had other ideas between when the Lightning were originally going to open things up at home and now. But, I just have to think this is a nice escape for the city of Tampa Bay has just been through so much. The Lightning coming home, I think this building is going to be rocking. And I think that the Lightning come out, handle business in their home opener. I think they do it at a great price as well. So I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Lightning in this one on the money line. Now we head to the Nationwide Arena for a matchup between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Florida Panthers. And Florida Panthers, I'll admit, are a team that I just cannot figure out for the life of me because, we were or at least I was on the Bruins yesterday. Didn't come through. The Panthers ended up pulling that out 4-3. But maybe I'll be wrong again. Who knows here? So, if you go with the Panthers, I wouldn't blame you. But I'm gonna take a shot here on the Blue Jackets plus the 1.5. I might sprinkle in the over 6.5 as well. Last time we saw the Florida Panthers get a big marquee win over Boston to start the year with their win at home in that banner raising ceremony night, and Florida came out and got the win there. The next game against the Ottawa Senators on the road a couple days later, they came out flat. Now they don't even have the luxury of having the day off in between, and we're probably going to see Spencer Knight here if I had to guess. And Knight was not very good in that loss to the Buffalo Sabres. Gave up 4 goals on 26 shots. So I think that the Blue Jackets are live here. The Blue Jackets have been competitive early on this season. They beat the Colorado Avalanche on the road. They only lost by a goal in their opener against Minnesota. And like I said, I think this game could be fairly tight. I could see this game easily being 4-3 or even 5-4, whichever way you slice it. So I'm going to take a shot here on the Blue Jackets plus the goal and a half. I'm going to lean towards the over 6.5 as well. Now we're going to the PNC Arena where the Carolina Hurricanes take on the New Jersey Devils. And, this is a Carolina Hurricanes team that, it's only had the one game under their belt so far this season. Like we mentioned earlier, it was that loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning. But I still think that Carolina is the better team side by side in this matchup. Now New Jersey, they got the great win over Utah on Monday. They were able to start Jake Allen in that game, so they will have Jacob Markstrom for this game. He's already confirmed as their better goaltender in this matchup. But the problem for me here is that the New Jersey Devils just have had no luck in the past against Carolina. They're 0-5 in the last 5 meetings going back to last year, 2-12 in the last 14 meetings in Carolina. And not only that, this is a New Jersey Devils team that was horrendous on the second half of a back-to-back last year, just 3-12 in their 15 games when they were playing the second half of a back-to-back. Not a good look for the New Jersey Devils in this spot. I can get why you want to take a shot on the value with them. Me personally, I'm going to take the Carolina Hurricanes at a reasonable price at minus 150. Now we're going to head to the Enterprise Center for a matchup between the St. Louis Blues and the Minnesota Wild. And this is a bit of a tricky matchup here, but I think I'm still going to lean towards the St. Louis Blues at home here at a decent price. Kind of, trying to figure out why Minnesota is favored on the road in this spot. The Wild, yeah, they have points in all 3 of their games this season, but they've also lost, to the Seattle Kraken at home in a shootout. They lost to Winnipeg on the road in overtime. And this is a St. Louis team that, hasn't necessarily played the toughest of opposition, but if we're looking at mutual opponents, they beat Seattle, the same Seattle team that I could just said beat Minnesota. Also were highly competitive in a loss to the Vegas Golden Knights. They beat San Jose in overtime. And I just trust Jordan Binnington more than I trust Philip Gustafsson or Marc-Andre Fleury right now. So if it is, the Blues are going to be a team for me that I'm going to have to try to keep an eye on and get an idea closer to puck drop of who's going to be the starting goaltender. If it's Joel Hofer, I'm going to have a hard time backing the Blues. I only really want a part of the Blues if they've got Jordan Binnington, and I think they will here. So I'm going to take the St. Louis Blues at even money in this one. Now we head to the Bridgestone Arena where the Nashville Predators take on the Seattle Kraken. And a game I kind of went back and forth on because the Seattle Kraken head-to-head have actually had the number of the Nashville Predators going back for since the Kraken's inception to the NHL 3 years ago. But I think that I just have to lean towards the under here as the better play because I anticipate, the number one goaltenders on both sides going here. I anticipate Decord and Saros being the 2 goaltenders in this one, as neither team's going to be on a back-to-back here after this game. And if you're big on starting goaltending and you want to know who's starting, I would try to do the research closer to puck drop, see if you can punch in starting goaltending reports or starting goalies and see if anything comes up. But again, I assume it's going to be Saros versus Decord, and you have 2 teams in Seattle and Nashville that have had issues trying consistently finding the back of the net so far this season. Nashville 3 goals in their 2 games. They were just shut out by the Detroit Red Wings, while Seattle is averaging 2.3 goals per game. They were just shut out by the Dallas Stars. And what's been apparent to me is when Seattle has to take a step up in competition, against teams like Dallas and St. Louis, they tend to falter. The win in Minnesota against Minnesota in a shootout, I've gone on time and time again, even on this wraparound where I don't trust the Minnesota Wild's goaltending. So I'm going to take the under 6. I can see this being a 1 to 3 wins kind of game. Now we head to this matchup between the Dallas Stars and the San Jose Sharks. And the Dallas Stars are a massive favorite, but I think they're a massive favorite for good reason. The San Jose Sharks, coming off of being shut out by the Anaheim Ducks. And I will give the San Jose Sharks credit. They've been competitive early on this season. You're going to hear me use that word a lot over the first little bit, competitive, especially against some of the lesser teams, or with some of the lesser teams, pardon me. But doesn't change the fact that San Jose Sharks for me are still one of the worst teams in the NHL. Goal scoring was an issue last season, and it's looking like it's going to be an issue this season as well, especially in this matchup against the Dallas Stars team with one of the best goaltending rooms in the NHL. I wasn't a Casey DeSmith fan, but he made me eat my words in his last start posting the shutout. This is a Dallas Stars team that's now sitting on back-to-back shutouts, and I think that the Dallas Stars just take care of business here. I think they could take care of business 4-0, 4-1, something like that. So I'm going to lean towards the Dallas Stars here on the puck line, and I'm also going to lean towards the under 6 as well in this one. Now we head to the Scotiabank Saddledome for a matchup between the Calgary Flames and the Chicago Blackhawks. And part of me is sitting here wondering if this price is now the overreaction to Calgary starting 3-0 and, taking care of business out of the gate so far, just beating a rival in Edmonton and taking care of business on the back-to-back. They're averaging, 5.3 goals per game so far this season. And I sit here and I think potentially it's a bit of an overreaction, but I'm not getting enough plus money to take a shot on the Chicago Blackhawks here. I think the Chicago Blackhawks, while they are coming off of their own win over the Edmonton Oilers, I think those losses to Calgary and to Chicago say more about the state of the Edmonton Oilers, which we will be talking about in a minute, than it does about either one of these teams. But I think side by side, when you put them in a vacuum, put them up against each other, that the Flames are the better team, and they are the better team that are the more trustworthy team, especially in the crease. I am not holding my breath for strong starts consistently from Peter Mrazek or Arvid Soderblom. I think that the Calgary Flames have to take advantage of winnable spots when they can get them. This is a Chicago Blackhawks team I think know that they're in a rebuild. They know that they still have work to do. This is a Calgary Flames team that's used to being in the playoffs and used to being a much more competitive team than a lot of folks are probably giving them credit to be this season. And like I said, take advantage of the winnable spots when you can get them, because they may not come further down the road. So for me, it's a lean here towards the Calgary Flames, but the price here just makes this a really, really tough spot to be in. And our final game on Tuesday's card takes us to Rogers Place, where the Edmonton Oilers take on the Philadelphia Flyers. And like I just said, I think those losses to Calgary and Chicago say a lot more about the state of where the Edmonton Oilers are than it does about, those teams. And maybe it says the same thing here for Philadelphia, because I'm going to take the Flyers as well. The Flyers have been able to provide value early on this season. I mean, they beat the Vancouver Canucks in their opener. They didn't look great against the Calgary Flames, admittedly, but those back-to-back spots are always going to be tough. And, I think that just goes to speak to how, entrenched Samuel Ersson is probably going to be as the number one starter. It sucks if you're Philadelphia, because you don't want to be shelling out $7 million in over 2 years for a guy in Fedotov that's probably going to be on the bench. But I like the makeup of this Philadelphia Flyers team. I like what I've seen from Matvei Michkov so far this season. And for me, the Edmonton Oilers are just, a no play at these prices. I get it. The run of poor form won't last forever for the Edmonton Oilers. But until they show me something, which very well could be tonight, I'm not backing them with my hard-earned money, especially when you consider the value that we're getting on the other side. Edmonton has allowed 5 goals per game so far this season, regardless of who's been in net, whether it's been Stuart Skinner or Calvin Pickard. And I think that the Philadelphia Flyers have some value here. So I'm going to take the Flyers plus the 1.5. I'm going to put a little bit on the money line as well at plus 186 to round things out. That's it. That's all the NHL action for Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. If you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And also make sure you let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. If you're looking for my best bets, including my daily $15 best bet, you can head on over to pickdawgz.com and click the premium picks tab at the top of the page. Going to have some NHL on the board today as well as some college football. So definitely make sure that you're taking advantage of that and those long-term passes as well. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys.